Hello, everyone out there, all you Seminole Boosters and season ticket holders and Florida State fans. We need all you fans to become ticket holders and Seminole Boosters, especially during this time when COVID has everything all up in the air and whatnot. So we don't have much new information on that. What we do have is positive, and you've read some of that, I'm sure, in the media here over the last few days. But Coach, I know you've been wearing a smile, both you and Coach Marv both wearing a smile as we have seen our players return at least to the Moore Athletic Center and the IPF and being able to do voluntary workouts. I'll remind all our fans that we're sponsored by the Hampton Inn and Suites on I-10 and Thomasville Road. And as soon as that schedule is confirmed, we are going great guns as if the season is going to start right on schedule. Get your room at the I-10 and Thomasville Road Hampton Inn. They're our sponsor and great place to stay for a game weekend. And I'll remind also all our fans that coaches are not allowed by NCAA rule to talk about voluntary workouts in any way. They're not allowed to talk about recruiting, obviously, in any way, although there's exciting things going on both fronts. If the internet and the media is correct. They aren't always correct, by the way. But having said that, Coach Norvell, Coach Marv, thanks for joining us. And we have had a delightful time, truly an exceptional time being able to catch up with you on Zoom to learn your staff, Coach Norvell, learn more about you, learn more about your wife and your family. And fortunately, we're kind of moving into the point where we're starting to talk football, and that is more gratifying probably to you and Coach Marv than to me even. But catch us up with where we are right now, Coach Norvell.
Well, it's been a great week, and just like anything else, I know you mentioned just with the voluntary workouts and at least having our guys, back in Tallahassee. It's been wonderful to see them coming in and out of the building. Just being around them. There's nothing like being side by side with these guys, and just to see the smiles on their faces. I know they're all excited about being able to utilize the facility. We're still working away with our virtual meetings, and our guys have done a really nice job with that. Just I think their overall understanding and the expectation of what we're looking forward to when it comes to what we're going to implement offensively, defensively. Now we just need to be able to push forward and get that on the field experience. We really challenged our guys from the mental aspect of it, of having a great understanding of the concept, because when we get on the field, there's going to be so much of the physical development and the fundamental aspects of technique, and being able to work through success and work through mistakes that have to get corrected. And that's going to be the biggest challenge for our coaches and players, all of us working together. So we need to do the best that we can possibly do mentally, so that we're ready to go once we can actually hit the field. But it had a wonderful week seeing those guys.
For those of you who weren't with us last week, Coach, you really pointed out how proud you were of how your student athletes performed academically during this really, really weird, is no other way to put it, really, really challenging time. And you extended a lot of compliments towards the academic staff here in the athletics department. And that goes this week really also to our training staff who have really, and facility staff who have really worked hard to make an environment that the players feel safe in, that you feel safe in, and that is taking their health as the number one priority.
Absolutely, and you hit it right on the head. I mean, that has been our sole focus, and our administration, the number of man hours that went into developing this plan. It's all hands on deck, and we've really done as good of a job as I could really have imagined of being able to implement that plan. And there's always moving pieces, some things that you can control, some things that you can't control. But having a well thought out and well devised plan of course of action, I think it's allowed us to be one of the first schools, and really being on the forefront of helping transition guys back on campus. I think our guys, they understand the importance of doing things the right way, maintaining social distance, making sure that that how we're operating in all aspects, that being able to keep their safety and the safety of our staff, as the top priority, like you mentioned. But it's kind of interesting. We're having all of our full staff meetings. We're still doing virtually. But we are breaking up, and inside of all meetings they're in person, which are allowed us to be a little bit more efficient in our actions. We've moved to the team room. We moved to the defensive back room. So we're all as a staff still maintaining our social distance. But it's been a really good week.
I've stressed this on every one of our calls here, the football fixes, but the positive atmosphere around our football program since you've come in, the positive atmosphere of our student athletes going through all this and not going through it with their head down has just been remarkable from an administrative point of view, and I'm sure from our fans' point of view, with a little bit that they've been able to see into the program. Now, next week, I think it's Wednesday of next week, the NCAA will vote on, you may have read something about a 6-week plan to go into college football, a 6-week practice plan. We don't know if that's going to pass or not pass or be modified or whatnot. But I know you love to plan. You got a plan for everything probably, and I'm sure you do. But I know you've got that planned out to the minute already.
Absolutely, and that was one of the things I was able to receive, that early proposal, and one of the neat things, I've been able to be on the subcommittee for the ACC, coaches and athletic directors in regards to helping go through a lot of those scenarios, and to see that plan. I think it's got a lot of positives to it. I know it's not finalized. Probably going to look at that by this next week, but I think it does address a lot of the needs in regards to helping transition our guys back, in a very positive manner, and then also allows for a couple things in regards to getting some of that extra time that was lost, maybe not out on the practice field, but just when it comes to meetings, and you hope and implement some walkthroughs and things like that could be very positive. At least being able to help these guys in their preparation for fall camp that's coming.
Thanks, Coach. And sounds like all's going very well. Can I take a few minutes and get to know the guy next to us here on the screen?
I tell you what, he's the star of the show, so I'm going to sit back and be quiet because I'm looking forward to this one.
Well, Coach Norvell has been lauded even before he came to Florida State, but at Memphis for his ability to have a staff that is far and above what most staffs have, and his ability to recognize excellent coaches. So, Chris, that's a compliment to you before you even put on a Florida State cap and coach out on the field, but you've done that a little bit so far. I want the folks to know a little bit more about you. And, of course, you're one of the coached at Mississippi State last year, Vanderbilt prior to that. You're a product of Vanderbilt. I'll mention that in 4 seasons as a full-time position coach, Coach Marv has produced 3 NFL draft selections, 2 all-conference performers, and a first-team All-American. He's been named to ESPN.com's 40 under 40, so that's the top 40 coaches under 40 years old. 24/7 Sports 30 under 30. Same thing, 30 coaches under 30 years old, and the American Football Coaches Association, 35 under 35. You were probably on the 5 under 5 when you were 5 years old too, I'm guessing. But I don't know what else you can win. But I want our fans to know also that just as important, maybe more important, was your career as a player. You were a 4-time All-SEC linebacker at Vanderbilt. You're one of the most decorated players in Commodore football history. He had 397 career tackles and not many scars to show for it, doesn't look like. He still ranks 9th in the program's history for tackles. And he was also, and this speaks a lot for you, the team captain for Vanderbilt as a junior and senior. And what a great addition to our program, where he is the linebackers coach and the run game coordinator. Run game stop coordinator might be better, but I know what they're looking for you to do. So, Coach, having said that, what was your introduction to Coach Norvell, and did you know much about him? Did your paths cross prior to the vacancy at FSU?
Yeah, so first and foremost, thank you for having me on here, man. It's a pleasure to be here. My wife and I, our family has really enjoyed Tallahassee in the short amount of time we've been here. Obviously, this has been a place with such a storied history and such a storied program that has produced not only quality football players, but very, very impressive men. And so I'm thankful to be a part of this lineage now. And so, you know, I did come across Coach Norvell a fair amount of time. You know, at one of those previous that you just mentioned, I actually recruited my home city of Memphis, Tennessee. I went to high school football, and so Coach Norvell and his staff had actually put together what was termed a mega camp, which invited a number of other universities to come by to evaluate and work out other young men. And quite frankly, before Coach Norvell and his staff got to the University of Memphis, it just hadn't had the caliber of success that it had had underneath his tenure. And so growing up there, you didn't really see that university as a football school. It was very much viewed as a basketball school, as Memphis is in itself as a basketball city, so to speak. And so you could just see and feel very, very tangibly how the success of that football program and the man that Coach Norvell is, how that was changing the city. And so we had a dull moment in the camp, which is not very common with anything with Coach Norvell. And I saw him walking by, and I just wanted to shake his hand. And I introduced myself, and we exchanged pleasantries, and we just kept in touch. And it was very apparent very early on that we were cut from a similar cloth. And we just kept in touch. And when this opportunity presented itself, that's how we're here now.
Well, I can testify to that. I'll never forget one of the most impressive things already was the day before, or maybe it was 2 days before spring practice started. We look out the window out here, and there are coaches and managers and trainers and going through the whole drills, running, practice dummies are running from place to place, whistles are blowing, horns are going off. Everybody's there but the players, and we're going, what's going on? And coach took everyone out there and went through every single drill without the players just to make sure everything was in order and everybody knew where to be. So, yeah, he's got an attention to detail, which you share, I know, just from looking at your playing career and your history as a coach. So far, what's it been? I know running into him and working with him before, but actually working for him and at FSU, what's that been like so far?
You know, sometimes you come across people in this profession, you know, you see or you have a perception of who they are. And then when you spend some time with them, you realize very quickly that they're very different people. That's not the case with Coach Norvell. You know, it's very apparent on a daily basis and almost an hourly basis how much we care about our players and how much he cares about this program and the development of not just football players, but as men. And so it's been a really good breath of fresh air to be around that on a daily basis, because it requires, you just mentioned, a level of intentionality and attention to detail that a lot of people just don't have. And so I think that quite honestly, it's been really good and it's been really fun.
Well, you use the word man, and last two answers you've given, and I've always been told that if there's a position on the football field that you've got to be a man, there's two of them, linebacker and fullback, because every single snap is a collision. You're in charge of coaching.
I contend that fullbacks will want to be linebackers. So maybe it's only one position.
So you're in charge of the linebackers at Florida State, obviously critical position nowadays in football, both in college and NFL. It's as critical in the passing. It used to be that they were in charge of the running game predominantly, but I know that we're going to run a multifaceted defense, and a lot is going to be asked for the guys under your tutelage.
Yes, sir. You know, I think it's really simple when it comes to stopping the run. You just tackle the guy with the football, right? Yeah. And just do so in a fashion where he has not gained a ton of yards, right? And so obviously we're under Coach Fuller's vision and his tutelage. And so we want to make it as simple as we can for our guys, but as complex and as varied as we can for our opponents as possible. And so one thing that we're fortunate to have young men who really, really love this game of football. And so they put in a very impressive amount of time into studying the game, studying what we're asking them to do, and just taking their time to meet the expectations that we've set, and in some cases really to exceed them. And so when you have players of that caliber who are cut from that mentality, you have a really good chance to be successful.
Well, you played the position obviously as well as anyone has in SEC history. You've coached the position at both Vanderbilt and Mississippi State. At those two stops, did you coach on the sideline or from the press box? And do you have a game? In a game, yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So during the game, I've been on the sideline for the majority of my career. When I was a graduate assistant, I was in the box for 1 year. But I love being down on the field, as you know, as with any position on defense, particularly at linebacker, because we're the middle of the defense, you have to be able to control your eyes. It doesn't matter how fast you are. It doesn't matter how strong you are. If you're fast and running in the wrong direction, or if you're strong and you're striking the wrong person, you're just not going to make any plays. And so what I like to really do on the football field is be able to control my guys' eyes based on what we've studied in the week ahead, and also how we're being attacked in the game, because that changes from week to week, because they've had a week to prepare just like we have. And so I love that part of the game. I love the emotion of the field and being able to control my guys' emotion to the degree that I can, and also to make sure that we're channeled and that we're controlling the defense and our calls as best we can from a linebacker standpoint. And so being on the field is where I love to be.
Well, you mentioned a little bit about Tallahassee. What about some of the things you like to do when you're off the field and not coaching? I know those moments are rare for all you guys.
So, one of the things I love to do the most is spend time with my family. I love my bride, and I love our daughter, who's almost a year old. We're just on a staff meeting, and we're joking about family time. And another thing I love to do is read. I love to read. I try to read at least 30 minutes a day if I can find it right before I get to bed. And quite honestly, those are the two things that I'm doing. If I'm not watching ball, studying ball, or talking ball, you'll find me doing those things. You won't see me out fishing as much. You won't see me out riding four-wheelers. Now I will, but that's what you won't see that 9 out of 10 times.
Last question for you. What are you most excited about with the upcoming season?
Well, I think like most of us, I'm pretty excited about watching our players play football. It's very, very apparent how much the game of football not only means to us, but also to them, because they love it and they've done it for so long. And you don't come to a university like Florida State unless the game of football is important to you. And, on the piggyback on that, I can't wait to watch these guys play football in Doak Campbell, right? Just the legacy and the tradition and the uniqueness of this university and of our stadium. I cannot wait to be a part of it. I mean, you can watch it on TV. You can watch as many highlight tapes. You can do all of that. But until you feel the tangible experience of it, it's completely different. And so I'm excited for that. And it'll be here before we know it.
Yeah, well, thank goodness. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to the Seminole family. Coach Norvell, thank you so much for taking you've taken a lot of time out to do this for all the Seminole Boosters and fans. And again, we want you to be a part of our team, fans and boosters. Get your season tickets now. They're still available. They're about to do the seating process in the next couple of weeks. So if you haven't renewed your tickets, those are going to go up and become available for somebody who does want them. So get your booster contribution in now. Get your season ticket application in now. And Coach, any closing words before we go?
Absolutely. Just to all our supporters and the boosters, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for providing us an opportunity to get to know our coaches and to kind of keep an update of where we are as a program and what we've been able to accomplish through a time that it is one of the most unexpected and just never before seen events that we've had to work through as a first-year staff. But the thing that I've enjoyed throughout is not only get to share a little bit about myself and our young men, but these coaches. We've got an incredible group of men that I get to work side by side with, and just so grateful to hear their stories, their passion. I get to see it every single day with the effort that they put in, and I can tell you. I think I said it at the beginning, but there's one common trait with all of our guys, and they're all led from the heart. They're all relationship based. They're all looking to help develop these guys, on the field, off the field, in the classroom, and in every aspect. And we have a special opportunity in front of us, and to the boosters, to the supporters and big fans, we can't wait to see you. Just continue to speak victory over the program. We're going to work hard to have these young men prepared to the best of their ability, and we can't wait to see you at Doak Campbell.
Yeah, and I encourage everyone. I can't tell you how excited this staff is and how exciting it is to be around this staff and how excited our student athletes are to be coached by this staff. So we want you here. We want you in Doak Campbell Stadium in whatever fashion we end up being. Watch next week, see what happens with that announcement on when they can begin practice and the actual preparation. Coach, thanks again for your time. Coach Mark, great to get to know you a little bit better. And I know the linebackers are delighted to know you'll be on the sideline. They were kind of hoping you'd be upstairs so we couldn't yell at them as much, but that's all right. And thanks to the Hampton Inn and Suites on Thomasville Road and I-10 for their sponsorship of this week's Football Fix. That's it for this week. Let's hope next week we have even better news as Florida State football is right around the corner. Go Noles, everybody.